Good morning. Welcome to another Facebook Live episode with Big B, the anti-lawyer lawyer. So today, what I'm going to do is we're just going to run through what an intake would be like if you come to my office and retain myself and my team to handle your claim. We'll run through what it's like just to walk into the office, sit down. It'll be an abbreviated initial client consultation because we aren't going to do an actual consultation, but we'll be able to run through the fee agreement, the facts, and how all the treatment will work and stuff. So come on in. So this is where we would check in. And then one of the gals at the front will bring you into the back. And this is where I come in and we have the initial meeting. And so whenever anyone comes in for an initial client meeting, I always ask them to bring in obviously everything they have that's related to their accident. So their driver's license, any insurance information they have, health insurance, car information, accident exchange information they might have received at the scene of the accident, if it's a slip and fall or something else. At a business, then any report generated from the business or the like, that we'd want that to bring them in as well. So again, anything that's related, pictures, anything that you can think of is obviously helpful. And then what we do is, this is the exact room we sit in that I meet clients in, and the first question I always ask people is, what happened? So what was the cause of their injuries, whether it's an automobile accident, slip and fall, an assault, dog bite, anything that we can go over, we go over the facts of it. And inevitably, after going over the facts, we talk about their injuries. Part of their injuries is what medical treatment they may need. If you have health insurance and you can go through your health insurance, then I encourage that. There's some complexities involved in choosing to go with health insurance instead of going with a medical lien. But that is something that I explain in detail at an initial client meeting, and ultimately it's the decision of my client to choose one or the other to go through. They both have different benefits and different cons that can happen with the method that you choose, and that can affect your settlement at the end to some degree, and so it's important to know that information. If they have health insurance, then I encourage them to go with the medical providers that they know, their primary care physician, maybe they've treated with a chiropractor, physical therapist, or something like that. Again, I always think it's important to go forward with treatment like you would if you were injured in any part of everyday life. So just like if you were injured in your backyard, trimming a tree, go forward with how you would treat normally. The way people can stumble is they think about it too much and they start to try to treat differently, thinking that somehow that's going to benefit their settlement. Thinking that way, in my opinion, isn't right. It doesn't help you at the end. And again, insurance companies know this stuff. So if you think you're trying to outsmart the system, it's not going to happen. I always say you can't snow the snowman. So after we figure out the medical treatment part of it, then what we do is we go forward with going through the paperwork that has to be completed. There's three paperwork that we go over at my office on intake. First is the fee agreement, Hipaa authorization, and then a power of attorney. So the fee agreement, the way mine works is it's 30% if we settle your case prior to filing a lawsuit, 35% if we have to file a lawsuit and then settle, and 40% if it goes through to trial. It increases simply because more time is involved in your case at each level. The vast majority of cases settle, so typically what we see is the 30%. Within my fee agreement, I also have another clause that states that if for some reason the math works out at the end of the day that my fee is going to be more than what the client takes home, there's an expressed paragraph within that that says I just don't think that's fair. I'm always going to make sure that my client walks with more money than me. I actually know a gal whose son was in a bad accident, had to have a bunch of skin grafts and different things. He was injured a lot. And that firm, a firm that advertises a ton, took their full 33 1/3%, which I don't charge. It's 30% up front. And the kid walked with like $800. I don't know how you sleep with yourself at night if that's how you're running your law practice. And don't say you're here to help people if that's the way you're running your law practice, in my opinion. So I want to make sure that my clients always, it's their injuries, they need to receive proper compensation. I do good work, I know I do, and my team does, and I know that the money is going to take care of itself if I treat people right. So that's essentially the fee agreement. Obviously there's more to it, but we go over that in the meeting. The HIPAA compliant authorization under federal law. We have to have an executed HIPAA authorization that we then send to the various medical providers, and then and only then are we allowed to get in copies of medical records and bills, because that's what we need to send out a settlement draft. And then the final one is the power of attorney. That's really for the benefit of the client. When we get in a settlement check, the settlement check's made out to myself and to the client, or my office and the client, I should say. The power of attorney lets me sign the back of that check and deposit it into my trust account. If they don't want to sign it, that's fine too. It just means that they got to come into the office, sign the back of the check. Then the check needs to be deposited. Then they got to come back and get their check when the settlement check clears through my bank account. So that's a very thumbnail sketch of what to expect when you come in for initial consultation, which again is always free here at Browne Law Group. I spend as much time as needed. Last Saturday I drove up to Flagstaff, met a guy at the Flagstaff Medical Center. This morning I was already up in Goodyear, drove up to meet another client. And I do this personally, and I'm happy to meet anybody throughout the valley for anything that they need. I like to make myself accessible, not only for the intakes, but I give them my cell phone number, and I want people to text me and call me as frequently as they can. Sometimes I'm not always available because I'm in trial or it's just a busy week, and so one of the staff members might return your call, but then I'll follow up as time permits. So again, that's another Facebook Live. I hope it provided you with some information on how the initial process begins over here at my office. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Send them through comments through Facebook. If you like this video, tag your friends, share your friends. I haven't come up with an idea for next week, but I'll have a good one, and we'll let you guys know through social media, Instagram or Twitter, Facebook before, so you can tune in next week, which again, next Friday at 11 a.m. Until then, this is the Anti-Lawyer Lawyer Big B. Thanks for watching.